a little cozy wozy gumdrop in a sweatshirt today. Hello, fall.
It is very gloomy and cold out.
Yes, I know. Everyone's thinking it. I did blow out my own hair today. Thank you. Thank you.
It looks so cute. Yes, hello, Farrah Fawcett. Is that the name?
The lack of conviction is
Hello,
crazy.
this is Quinn, and that is Farrah. Nice to have you on the Q&R Code podcast this week. And I mean that with only the utmost respect, because I feel like I felt maybe at times it was annoying when our parents would make that comment when we had our hair curled or whatever back in the day. But now that I've seen the inspo, you can't be offended because the hair is so good.
I'm not offended. Whoa, sorry. Had to clear that one. No, I'm not offended. The only thing is that I am just a youngin', and I've to this day have never seen any of her work, to my knowledge.
Her work.
So I'm saying that because I'm like, is she an actress? That's what I think. Or maybe she was a model. This is how little I know. So, you know, I won't feel
Some sort of pop girly.
yeah. So, sometimes at our young age, the cultural references, it's like I know that because it's been referenced, but not because I actually know that. And there are some huge gaps in knowledge. One of those definitely being The Godfather. So my boss yesterday said like a line, and I had no idea that was what it was from. I just like I moved right past, and she was like, Riley, like, do you get it? And I was like, nope. And she said it was from The Godfather. I'm like, oh. Yeah, never seen that one. Blind spot for me.
You're like, the closest I come to understanding that is the reference from Zootopia.
Yeah, so. Literally, the Zootopia scene.
Which I did not know was a Godfather reference until talking to my brother and dad and being like, oh, this part of Zootopia is so funny. And they were like, oh, yeah, classic reference. And I'm like, what?
You're like, yeah. No.
The Godfather. I was like, oh, okay. It does make a lot of sense now. It's so funny in Zootopia, though.
It's so funny because it's a little, like, I don't know, is he a mole? He's a vole? He's a little rodent.
Well, the bear walks in, the big boss. The bear walks in and the mice are like, and then the little guy curls up. I love animated movies like that.
Zootopia 2 is coming out.
I know.
I don't know when, but I will be set.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, and definitely feel like need to rewatch Zootopia, need to rewatch Freaky Friday. Still haven't seen Freakier Friday, which I'm really freaking bummed about, but I'm trying to go with the gals.
It's still in our theaters, so you
should. It is still in theaters, which good. It's like keep a movie like that I feel like it seems obvious people are going to want to see that one, like keep that in for longer. But
yeah, it's already been out for a week when Brayden and I went in the theater, it was full, so as
it should be for Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan.
Brayden and I. Oh, jeez. Roger. That's okay, bud. It's nothing. Nothing. Enough. Place. Yes, good point.
You just looked like where they like stumble their like you got so scared.
Well, he startled me. He doesn't usually do that. It's just because the mailman came up the way. Anyway, Brayden and I went to the movies. We saw The Roses with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. And it was also really funny. It has some seriously scathing humor in it, but I was just having so much fun that I'm like 2 times recently, Britt and I went to the movies and saw a comedy, which just feels so good and so fun
Back to the
to
old
be,
days.
yeah, laughing with other people in there. But there were some people you could definitely tell that the humor was a little harsh for. There was this girl that just kept on being like, Jesus, every time they would have a joke, which made it funnier. So that's
Oh,
another
I'm
one.
glad you liked that. You wouldn't want fucking Oscar the Grouch Quinn accompanying you on that because again,
No,
back
she
to
wasn't
my
being
opinion.
chatty. They would just like, it would be like punchline, and then she would be like, "Oh my god." She was
Okay.
scandalized a little bit by it.
Okay, I can understand. I still am jaded from when the group of friends was scandalized by baby girl and was like, "Get it, girl!" every time. I'm like, shut actually up. I can't stand that. So there can be, that is the thing, is I'm like, sorry, the rules don't apply to all. And we know
I
that.
should
If
get
you're
to
actually
have a running
funny,
commentary throughout an entire film, but
if you're funny and you have good comedic timing and you're not actually interrupting and it's a small enough thing that it's adding to the experience, guess what? Most people don't have that. Most people don't have the je ne sais quoi to know when is the appropriate time for a reaction. And then people are just really then take away and make it about themselves. Like, okay, transition. You had mentioned that there are some references you just don't know that really aren't your time. That is how I felt yesterday and listening to My Favorite Murder.
I'm so excited to hear about this, guys.
My
'Cause
Favorite Murder Live in
Quinn went to
Denver.
the show, and I like kind of what we were talking about with Quinn last week with JC and what we said. I am a very long time listener to My Favorite Murder. I'm not even like, oh, I'm so in deep with the true crime vibes. It's like those two
Yeah.
particularly I really like, and Quinn I always bring up to her. Like Karen and Jordo were talking about, like they are the podcast that I like weekly listen to because I just feel so comforted with their dynamic, and I'm so excited to hear about the show because told Quinn this, they kind of hinted it will probably be their last tour. Never say never, but they're like, we have no future plans for this, so I might never
Well,
have the
to have
opportunity to see them
future
live.
plans for a tour is fucking crazy. Like, what they're like, and in 2 years after this tour, I don't know. That feels crazy to me, but it feels like you have to focus on the current one. I'm sure they're coming to a city near you, Riley. Denver was the first stop on their tour.
I know they're coming to DC, but it's sold out, and DC is like, yeah, it's
Ours was
near
sold
me,
out
but it's
too. Ours was sold out too, and we bought resale tickets.
I'll check into it. It just is probably not gonna happen this time for me, but well, after I can tell about Quinn, then we'll go into what I have going on. So
Yeah, I'm taking center stage now. My thing with them, My Favorite Murder, is I think they're extremely funny, and I think they make plenty of references that are go above my head that I'm like, I can tell the reference you just made was funny. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know how old they are. Are they 40s?
Karen is in her 50s and Georgia's in her 40s. They have like a 10-year age gap.
Oh, do they really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that. Well, they were so sweet and so funny and both dressed so sharp. They looked so cute. Georgia told us she thrifted her dress from somewhere in Denver yesterday.
Aw. Georgia has the cutest little like vintage style. She loves
Yes,
like
that's
very cutesy 60s housewife style dresses. Is that like kind of what she was
but
wearing? Or
it was like black and gray, dark, but yes, it was like hairspray era almost. Not quite,
Yeah.
but like the tight fitted bodice and then it
A
went
fit and
long
flare.
and flowy. It was so cute, and then I also actually really liked that it fit her literally perfectly. It was crazy that she just thrifted it, but then on the back she did a little spin, and I liked that she did because I got to see the detail on the back that first of all it cuts like into a V on the back, and then so this can look good or can look shitty. In this case, looked really good. Had the like collar. I know that's. I'm sure there's something. I don't know if you would call it a lapel on the back or.
Yeah.
But anyway, they both looked awesome. They were both so funny. Oh my gosh, my ears. I don't know if it's that I just assume in general they're have loud. Such a cult following. No.
Oh.
The audience was obsessed with them, which I'm so glad. And
because I thought you were gonna say they're loud because their podcast, whenever I turn it on, just like the default level, I kind of volume keep my phone on. I always turn it down a few notches because I feel like theirs runs louder, but that's obviously like from audio engineering, not necessarily that they as individuals are super loud, but
I don't
think
I'm
sure
I don't
the
think they
audience
give that
roaring.
Loud. The audience was extremely into them, which again, I love that for them. I love that they have their own little celebrity situation going on, and people are obsessed. Like, people were laughing so hard. People were just so into it, which I was glad. That's obviously so much more fun than being in a theater full of, like, it's kind of once in a while there's a little, like, a random clap in the back left. Like, I'm glad that so everyone was.
A live audience is like crickets vibes.
Yeah, so I thought that was great. There were times that I was like, I am a little bit of the, like, you're kind of roaring over their speaking right now, and I would rather hear what they have to say, but they did a very good job of, like, they knew to break, you know, when stuff got too loud, but there were just a few times that people, I'm like, I love this. They're also trying to put on a show, so please, like, there are just some times that I really, again, why do I have to be the Debbie Downer like this? I don't know, but I'm just saying what I feel, that I love that there will be, like, cult followings and audiences that make people feel so, like, appreciated, and they get the references, and they, like, have invested their time into these people. And sometimes those crowds, too, are a little, just slightly out of touch, where it's like, okay, let's still make sure it's about them being the ones talking.
Sometimes I think that live audiences have gotten worse because of the parasocial aspect of relationships, where we feel, I think, closer to celebrities, if you want to call it that, or people through the internet than ever, because you feel like, oh, we have, like, a personal
and for people for 10 years have been building their relationship with them, you know?
Yes, and you know how personal it is listening to podcasts, which is so great, and they've talked about on their podcast how they're like, we so appreciate that, and people can be very disruptive in our shows, and that's, like, really hard to be on stage when people are shouting things out at you and are interrupting you, and, like, everyone's paid to come here and watch the show, and they have definitely touched on, like, we appreciate the enthusiasm, and, like, we need to keep it respectful at the shows, because sometimes
everyone
people
was
really do
definitely respectful. No one was trying to take their spotlight or, like, yelling at them or anything. It was just that there were times that I was like, is maybe this applause going on just a little longer than we need? You know what I mean? But anyway, that's being extremely
kept it classy, because I just listened. They will record their live episodes too, and I just listened to one where you could hear, like, in their recording, there were clearly people in the audience that just kept on shouting out things, and I don't know if they were drunk or what, but I was like, can you shut up?
That was not happening, but there was someone. Okay, I have a few more things to say. So, first of all, Riley, I knew I wanted you to be with me in spirit, so my snack of choice there, I did purchase a bag of peanut M&Ms. Yes. So, you were there in spirit with me. And it was just, you know, good vibe. I was definitely thinking about the podcasting. It was a write-off for me. Just kidding.
This is research?
It did honestly feel like research. I was, like, noting so much, and it was really fun. But there were a couple of people in front of us that were just like, they were being quiet. It's not like they were gabbing, being all big. But coming from an audience member with ADHD, it is very hard when people are having a side conversation and they were right in front of us having a side conversation, like fully turned to each other, whispering so like for so long. And then this was the row right in front of us, and finally the person right next to them, I thought they got really brave because a couple seats away from them kept like looking over and kind of giving them a look. So imagine how distracted my brain is.
Me.
I'm like trying to focus.
Look person.
Yeah. I'm trying to focus. I already have to use all my might to focus on something that's in front of me. And then these people are talking. And then finally the person next to them was like, guys, that's so rude. And they were like, what did she just say? And the person was like, that we were being so rude. And they're just like, roll their eyes, whatever. And I'm like, that did shut them up, though.
It was
finally.
Rude.
I'm like, you're right. But anyway, so they did stop, but it was so hard because I feel the thing about a show like that, I really love it and I like listening to My Favorite Murder, but sometimes I feel like I have to do the back 15 seconds thing because I will miss, like, there are some parts of the key information. I feel like they do a good job of reiterating it, but it can be the feeling of like, oh, if you miss who one of the characters and then the whole time you don't know the context of this person, then you can just kind of get lost in the story. So I was like mean mugging those guys because I'm like, I am trying so hard to focus and hear what's going on. The side convos have got to stop. Go to the bar. Like, go to a restaurant. Why are you at a concert or a show? Yeah, I don't
And I know
get
when
it.
you haven't seen someone in a long time and you want to catch up, that's why you have to plan for like a hang before or after in those situations. Because I have had where you meet your friend at the movies and you have like wanted to hang out, but you're at the movies, so it's not catch up time.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, the show was great. They did such a great job. They're so naturally funny. I liked too that when they were kind of, you know, there would be moments that they were human and there was a bit of a stumble or something was awkward and they just rolled with it and embraced it fully. And who knows how. I was thinking about if I was in their shoes, I'm like, would I be walking off the stage with such immense feeling of anxiety of like, what just happened? Or are they maybe just owning it and being like, yep, because they did an awesome job and it was their second show back because Denver, they did 2 nights. It was their second show back in 6 years. And of course there were some little, you know, imperfections, which I like personally because makes someone feel more human. It's like, okay, we're actually part of this. You're like going through the story, whatever. But it was really fun.
Do you remember which 2 stories they covered?
They covered, Karen told about the Colorado cannibal, which was a case that I had not heard about that either, where Alfred someone, look at my brilliant mind, Alfred someone killed and ate 5 people, but I believe it was like a at once situation. And then someone in the media, a woman journalist, was covering his story because he got sentenced to 40 years of prison time.
40?
Yeah, which apparently they said at that time was a lot. Like, it was in the late 1800s.
Hello? I kind of
they're
think
like, not for life.
They're like, that would be unreasonable. He only killed and consumed
5 people.
5 people.
Well,
Give
that's
him a guy
my friends.
a chance.
My friends last night were like, well, he's not even a serial killer. I was like, what? And they're like,
5 people?
You have to have killed in different it's like three different situations. Like it's not considered a serial killer. I don't know if this is true.
Oh my gosh,
this is what my
that
friend said.
technicality.
It's not a serial killer if it's not multiple different times, because what he claimed was that it was a matter of survival. And that the one guy punched first, basically, and then he reacted in self-defense, and then I don't know what happened the next 4 times. So I'm like,
It's like in year 1 when he's
was it
like,
a standoff?
I can't believe what I've done, and then the guy starts to sit up and he smashes him over the head with a rocket again. He's like, I can't believe what I've continued to do.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so a journalist, Nell, became that bitch at the Denver Post and really dove into this story, visited him in prison. She ended up feeling like he told a very convincing story, and so she ended up feeling like people got it wrong and it truly was in self-defense. He ended up getting off on parole, I believe. And then he died a few years later from a heart attack, I think, and I don't think that he had any other kills or anything, but doesn't it seem like diving into consuming 5 people, like, that would be a very extreme means for survival. Like, I just picture for me, how long would it take before I killed 5 people for me to eat to live? You know? It's just hard for me to picture that. And all of their heads were found smashed by hatchets. So I'm like, I don't know.
That's a little extreme, but okay. Well,
And then,
I guess I hope they release this live episode recording so I can hear more context for that. I'm currently not really on Alfred's side.
yeah, it was hard for me to understand, but of course, it was basically, what was the word that they said? Oh, plausible deniability or whatever. That kind of it ended up coming to, like, there wasn't enough evidence when then Nell started telling this convincing story.
That?
Yeah.
Well, especially if you're saying it's in the 1800s.
Yeah. But yeah, there was a lot more there, but then Karen told about, or I mean, Georgia told her story about why I just told you what it's called, the what hotel, the frickin'
Yeah.
a Denver hotel that was haunted, and unfortunately I don't have much recall on the story because this is when the people were gabbing and I was just getting bits and pieces. It was fun to listen to. Don't have a great well-rounded. Basically, it's about that it's haunted and something.
Okay. Cool. Well, that sounds so fun. And did someone get to go up and do a hometown?
Yes, and the hometown was actually sweet because it was they have a specific name now. Basically, criminal prosecutor or something. She herself prosecuted a murderer in Colorado Springs. Wow. And, like, yeah, her first case, there was a dead body found by a group of teenagers, and it ended up being the baby daddy was the killer of this woman. Jeez. And she put him behind bars. So that was crazy. I always
think about, because I've listened to their podcast for so long, but never written in a hometown. For those of you that don't know or listen to the podcast, like, one of their episodes a week is listeners' submissions that they read. But coming from such a small town, it just feels so personal. Like it's not only murders you can write in about
Mm.
any
Oh.
goings on in the town. Like people write about natural disasters or first responder stories. There's lots of different things. So people will write about finding treasure, like they are kind of an anything
Finding
goes episode.
treasure, period.
Yeah, they love a treasure story. But I have thought like there are some things that have happened in our town that would be worthwhile to write in, but it feels so not like my story to tell when you're in these close knit communities. I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll think of one that I'm like, okay, that I feel comfortable with, but a couple of the things that I've thought about, I'm like, I just don't feel right about like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's
It can.
just
It's a fine line between like gawking slash glorifying and just like telling a story, which I think that they do very well. I always feel like they're respectful. Well, maybe not to the people who are mass murderers or whatever. Um, but I don't know. I feel like they have good taste in how they share about things. Um, but anyway, that was really fun, and we went and got delicious food, and then such a fun part of the night. We went for my friend's birthday, and you guys know that I have trouble. It takes a lot to get me to stay out late at night, but we ended up driving. We like carpooled together. And we got back home to one of our friends' house to like drop people off. And then us four girls just stayed in the car chatting for like an hour and a half into the wee hours, and it was really fun because it was just such fun girls time getting to catch up and like telling a bunch of stories and everything. But oh my
hmm.
gosh, I did not clock the hours of sleep that I would have wished to, but this is one of those nights which I love. Riley and I are so selective about what plans we say yes to because we just are honest about what serves us in our time, and some people might call that selfish. I call that mature. Um, because I think if you're constantly draining your battery, that's not a like flex. So it's about distinguishing when is the right time for us to spend that type of. To me, losing hours of sleep is a big deal. So
Mm.
this sacrifice of losing sleep felt very well worth it, which I love because there's nothing that bothers me so much as losing sleep for something that was not satisfying, not worth it, not a good time, basically just sitting around at a bar and not having quality time
Period.
together, like that type of thing. So, anyway, it was really fun. Good food, good friends, good show.
Love that. Well, I'm looking forward to the show tomorrow, and when we're recording this, that I'm going to see with our boy Charlie Crockett and our other boy Leon Bridges. That's gonna
Oh
be,
my!
yeah, they're doing.
I thought you
They're
were
not
gonna say
doing a
Zach
show.
Top.
Well, Charlie Crockett and Leon Bridges are not doing the show together in the sense like they will each be performing their own set, but it's one show. So they're doing like I think they called it Kings of Texas tour where because they're both native Texans and they're doing just a short tour run where they are going together. So that's just a
Nice.
bonus to get to see Leon Bridges because we were going initially for Charlie Crockett, but I really like his music too. I'm not as much of an active listener, I would say, but I have been a little bit more so recently because knowing the concert was coming up. But this is why I will probably not, even if I could, maybe get resale or something, make it work to go to My Favorite Murder because I am being big time spoiled since I don't know what it is that all of these artists that I love are coming to this area within a month of each other. So this is going to be a busy live music month for me, which I'm so lucky and excited for. But also, I'm like, I wish that they could be a little spread out to extend the feeling, but can't really help when people are going to be in town. So then I'm also going to see Sierra Farrell, which will be so fun.
So fun. I wish I
she's
would have
so
seen her at Red Rocks. It looked
know.
like so fun. I loved her star outfit. Like, just to me, I love that type of vibe. Like the shiny silver star outfit, and then that Nikki Lane for their song came out as well with her little moon around her head. I was like, oh no. I didn't even know. It just wasn't on my radar that she was going to be here right now, but I think you definitely should go spend the money. That's the type of costuming that I want to see on a stage. Like, I love
She
her
always goes all
wardrobe. It's so sick.
It's very fairy cowgirl.
Oh,
vibe.
if I could tattoo an artist, like Sierra Farrell would be so fun to tattoo.
Yeah. I wonder if Charlie
should have tried to
Crockett has
slide
any
in
tattoos.
for. I don't know, but I think that his
He's
lady
such a-
does.
Yeah, his lady definitely does. He's just such a modest king. He's always all covered up.
Yeah, show
Let's
some
see
skin.
that bod.
Yeah. Just so we can see if there's tattoos. Just,
Yeah, purely.
undress to your comfortability just for us to check on the tattoos.
You know who has tattoos is Orville Peck.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
I would
if
be
you got
stoked to tattoo him. Stoked to tattoo Noah
like queer
Cyrus or
artist to
any of
queer
the Cyruses.
artist.
Yeah. Casey, you have my number. Just kidding. That would be
Casey
awesome.
Does have tattoos? I'm trying to picture maybe little.
I think she
girly
has
ones?
a couple little guys. I don't even know that for a fact, but I just imagine so.
Maybe a little wrist script or something of the sort.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Sierra Farrell is going to have Nikki Lane there. It said guest Nikki Lane, so I don't know if she's opening or if it's just going to be like what you were
I
talking
think
about.
it's
where
that, she like comes on for a song.
comes on. So that'll be really fun. And then I also get to see Tyler Childers,
Whoa.
which was a kind of spur of the moment add-on that I have seen him before, and so I was like, okay girl, you're seeing a lot of live music, do we really need to do that? But I found out that two of my friends were going, and they told me where their seats were. They already had tickets, and so I was like, okay, we'll just see if there's something around there. It's this huge auditorium, and that's almost fully sold out, and there were just a few random like one seat here or there situations left, and there happened to be one left that is literally right, so they're in the row behind, but I have like the same seat number, one row in front of them, so we would be like right in a little group
cluster.
And so I was like, that was meant to be.
You're like,
so
the stars aligned. I have to.
yeah, yeah. And then I am
And
also
then-
going to see Zach Top. So
You're having a little country run.
yeah, it's a little
I love that.
crazy, but I feel like all of these were very affordable shows, so it's kind of it's not even combine all of those tickets together, you wouldn't get a nosebleed seat to the Taylor Swift Eras tour. So it's not like I'm dropping major coin, but definitely spending more on entertainment this month than I normally do, but those are what I consider like an experience, and rather than buying things, like that is something that, looking back at all of our memories of going to live music, is so special, and I never am like, should have just saved money on that one. So I feel
I'm
really
so
good
sick
about
and
it. I just
tired.
feel spoiled.
I'm sick and tired of that. It's been so few and far between that we're sharing those type of experiences together in the past 4 years. It's just starting to really, really bother me and weigh on. Like, it just doesn't seem right that you're seeing 4 concerts in a month and I'm not gonna be with you for one of them.
I know. I wish that you were coming in time for Zach Top because that would be really fun to go together. I don't know if you've been listening to his new album. Have you?
Mm-mm.
You should
No,
give it
I
a
haven't been
listen.
doing a good job of listening to the new stuff. Like, I haven't listened to you were saying to me, you're like, oh, listening to Sabrina Carpenter's and whatever. Like, I have not been doing a good job keeping up with new music whatsoever. So I need
Yeah,
to listen.
Tyler has a new album, Sabrina, Zach Top, and I like them all. So
Charlie's coming soon, right? Or he
yeah, that
already
man puts
released
out
it again.
so much music.
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
the most productive guy on the scene. He puts out albums like this. So
Mhm.
I used to feel like I knew his discography really well, but I definitely have not kept up completely. But Zach Top's new album is, he's kind of known for being this way, but it's very like 90s country and feels so nostalgic to listen to, even though it's new music. And I don't know why I feel nervous, as if I'm gonna get like a stalker from the pod to say this, but I'm going to the concert alone, which I felt excited for because you guys know I've been on my doing some things alone journey, and it can feel really good. At a concert, I was just nervous because I can already get anxiety at shows with big crowds, feeling a little suffocated, a little claustrophobic, and there are reasons that I feel like concerts are so fun, but I'm not necessarily always the most at ease. But I know it'll be a good experience, and everything will
for
actually
sure.
be fine with that sort of anxiety. I'm like, I know that there's no real reason to worry, so I'm trying to just embrace that. And I also think it's such a good thing to get the opportunity to experience things alone that you would normally do with other people. But it is funny because I'm gonna be literally the top nosebleed, like absolute top of this arena. It's a big auditorium. I don't even know if auditorium's the right word for it. It's an arena, and they have like the seats that are just singletons off to the side, and I'm like, perfect. That's all I need, so that I don't need to be trapped in between anyone. I'll just be off on my little lonesome, which
Nice.
conveniently, those are by far the cheapest seats because most people are not looking for that sort of a seating at the concert.
Yeah,
So
a
we'll
concert
hear about
alone
that.
is very brave. I'm proud of you for doing that, and I think it'll be great. And I also feel like Zach, our guy Zach, he's got to
Yeah.
be one of those that just wouldn't let funny business go on, don't you think? I imagine
he's
if
like,
he's,
about a mile away from me, I see some shenanigans.
but I do feel like it's becoming. Well, I don't know about becoming. I have seen some clips of artists recently that are like, I am not taking that funny business. I don't know why Young Blood is so on my in my wavelength for social media wise. Instagram. I honestly have been spending no time on TikTok whatsoever, but I have been spending time on Instagram Reels, and guess what's on the way in the mail? A brick. I'm so excited. Riley, did you order
Mine's
yours?
supposed to be delivered today.
Okay, so Riley and I are so excited about that bricked up lifestyle. We cannot wait to tell you how it works for us, because I'm hoping that my life changes. And yes, I am putting all of that on one little piece of plastic. So, but anyway,
mine's
Young Blood.
will be just in time for Brayden to also be out of town, because
That is
I don't
helpful.
want to be alone at home and become an actual
Doom
like
scrolling.
7 hour per day screen time
No.
girl.
No. But it is easier when you're home alone, I find. To just like lose yourself in the
Get lost
scroll.
in the sauce. Yeah.
But anyway, so maybe it's because I watched the whole video of Youngblood being basically passed the torch by Ozzy Osbourne when it was his last show and being like, I deem you next to kind of step into my shoes situation.
Quinn, I don't know anything about this man. Is he a rapper? Because that's what it sounds like. But
What?
if he was passed the torch by Ozzy, I would think
Ozzy
he's like
Osbourne,
a metal.
really? No, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if metal. I don't know exactly how you would classify. No, it is not rap. He is very much so more of the Ozzy Osbourne vibe.
Okay.
Not even that I know much of that either, but I enjoy watching him because he seems like a really
James
nice
from Love on
guy.
the Spectrum will give you an education.
Oh yeah, I could. That I should DM him and ask
Did
him
you
about it.
see the video of him and Shelley doing karaoke for
Oh, I've
Ozzy
seen multiple.
Osbourne in tribute? And I just love James's caption was like, I hope I was not giving too dramatic of a performance. I'm like, you couldn't possibly give too dramatic of a karaoke Ozzy Osbourne tribute performance.
I also love that his attire is short sleeve collared shirt buttoned all the way to the top, shorts and sandals. Always the toes have got to spread for James. He wants to make sure that they are not constricted. So I love that outfit, the like Hawaiian t-shirt vibe, but nice. You know, he would probably gawk at me saying that, James. I meant no harm. But I love that. And then the rock, like, yes, that outfit paired with, whoa, yeah, like, is everything to me.
I love the video of him at a metal show where he is protecting his personal bubble. Have you seen it? Where I'm not even saying this in a way, I know it sounds like making fun, but I so feel this way at a concert, and I love that he is able to do what the rest of us want to do, and he is, like, using his arms to make space for himself and, like, turning around like this.
That is smart. As long, you know, I'm sure he's not like touching people unnecessarily. That is smart to just be like, hey, this is the blood zone. Don't fucking come in this zone.
Yes.
Anyway, Youngblood just seems super nice. I don't know really his vibe, but he just
sounds super wholesome.
He's very, very nice, and I saw a video of him at a show, and he stopped things and was like, I see this bullshit happening right here. That is not happening. I feel so awkward to just quote him, but he was like, we love each other here. We are safe here. Does everyone feel safe? Does everyone feel, like, comfortable where they are? And he's, like, actually scanning the crowd and, like, making people that clearly are, like, harassing someone leave. And I just appreciate that even though it's the vibe of a different, you know, maybe more intense music style and whatever, that he's still like, there is no bullshit here. This is all about love. This is all about enjoying ourselves. Everyone deserves to feel safe at my concerts. We are not moving on until I feel like it's comfortable everywhere that I look. And I think that's, everyone is like commenting on the videos like, we made the right person famous.
Especially in like a floor standing section, things can get so intense at a show. I feel like I've been bringing this up a few times recently, but Quinn at Billie Eilish was actually in a probably the worst. Would you say that's your worst concert situation?
Well, yeah, worst in the case of, you guys, this was before Billie Eilish was well known whatsoever. Like, she was
16.
15. No, she wasn't even. She was 15, and some people, was telling people I was in college, and people are like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to a Billie Eilish concert. And most people were like,
they're like, Joel?
What? Yeah. No.
Call back.
No. They're like, oh, he came back from the dead? I
Billy Joel isn't dead. He's had like a running tour at the Madison Square
Oh,
Garden for
shit.
like years.
You're
I'm
a really
fake
fake fan. It's not me just assuming he was dead. I don't know why I assumed that. That was
It's like
pretty
he's
fucked
old
up and
as
crazy.
hell.
Anyway, no one knew. There were a couple people. Like one person was like, "Oh, Billie Eilish? Like, is that who did Ocean Eyes?" So that's how many people knew about her. But she had still at that time, it was such the cult following vibe that when she came out on stage, and we were really right up at the front, like there was one row of people in front of us, and it was just all open floor situation. We were right up next to the front, and everyone pushed forward so hard when she came out, like so hard. And she, even at that time, she's literally like a tween, and is like, everyone needs to take a ginormous step back. And people listened to her a little bit, but still, the whole concert, I'm not joking when I say, I was 1 foot on the floor, 1 foot standing on top of my other foot. And just like my shoulders supported by the people next to me, but no wiggle room. And that made, yes, the freaking claustrophobia is real. I was so relieved when she did that. Everyone like go down for the sorry, psych, and then jumps. But when everyone went down, I was like, oh God, I can breathe.
Oh God. Well, you can see how crowd situations become dangerous so
they
quickly,
can escalate
like Black
so
Friday
quickly.
stampedes and stuff, because if you are like trapped between people, there's actually nothing you can do.
It's so scary. And obviously you think about current day, like fucking Travis, the situation of like, I just think a stampede of people is so scary. And yeah, you really have to, it is your duty as the performer to be looking out into the audience and making sure that generally it seems like things are safe and comfortable for people, because people just go crazy over the celebrities and artists and like lose their mind.
Yeah.
And obviously plenty of people are on drugs and everything
understand
else.
Is, of course, there's security guards there to like protect the singer and
Artist,
the band and whatnot, but why isn't it also security that like is doing more crowd control of like, okay, we need to make some space, that sort of thing? Like, I know it's just hard for a couple people to try to control a crowd like that, but you would think that with the number of accidents that have happened in those situations, that would also be kind of the venue would do that. But anyway, everyone was fine in that situation. However, even if it's not like, oh, you get killed, you can get dizzy and dehydrated, or
one person partway through the concert had to be security had to break through to pour water in their mouth because someone like made a scene being like, this person is passing out. And so even literally it was a tiny venue, like, and still with just a few hundred people in there, that like, it's just crazy how quickly you can lose control of a crowd. So anyway, I'm glad you're in your little one seat. I'm glad that I don't generally feel just like doom anxiety about that, but it is something that it's like things can escalate, especially with someone that has like such a cult following. I was just picturing at like My Favorite Murder, people just like swarming up to the stage. Thankfully, it was all seats. And when there's all seats, it's a lot different, I feel like, typically.
Yeah. Sean's acting up again.
Yeah, he's in his crate. Good boy. We're almost done here, buddy.
While we're on the topic of safety and danger, I think that it's only right that we bring up that, as always, the state of the world and politics has been heavy on our minds, and particularly recently, I just feel so at a loss for what is going to happen with women's rights over their own bodies. There's some issues happening in our hospital locally for providers being able to access or offer the care that they need to for women who are either having miscarriages or elective abortions for whatever reason. And there's now the Supreme Court probably going to review same-sex marriage, which has only been legal in this country for a decade now, which is crazy in itself that it took that long, and I can't believe that it's already being questioned. There are just so many things that feel like they're backsliding and make me feel very helpless. It was the other day, the 80-year anniversary of the end of World War II, and you just think of how recent that history is, and to have fascism seriously reemerging in a very alarming way is just not something that I ever hoped or thought would happen in our lifetime. And I don't know what to do. Of course, there's only so much that each individual can take on, so we're just trying to weigh or find the balance between living your life and not like giving up stuff before it's gone, and taking a really active role. So just wanted to let people know that I was just made aware of another No Kings protest day is going to happen in October, so you can look up your local organizations that would have more information for you there, because I don't remember the exact date at the moment. And of course, what Quinn and I always advocate for is just seeing what you can do in your circle of influence in your own community, whether that is taking up a volunteer position or giving your resources to organizations that need help, or educating people that you believe are able to be educated and hear those things without it being, of course, a dangerous situation for you to put yourself in. And we're here thinking of those things and working towards the best of our ability. Let us know if there are any ideas you guys are having or steps that you can take with signing petitions and making our voices heard in the best way possible.
Yeah, I think that was all well said, and I'm grateful for community. And it is very like how I felt last night, that it was just nice to be in a space with people and friends that are like-minded. And I don't think that that's what we need to go for all the time, but I do think when you're someone that this type of stuff is actively weighing on, that it is important to have the breaks of fun, joy, and coming together. Like, that still naturally, talking about the state of the world was very much part of our conversations as well, but feeling like, there's the camaraderie and community aspect to not feel so alone. Because the worst feeling for me when I am considering the state of the world is when it's from a point where I'm kind of like doom scrolling about it or whatever, and then in my mind it feels like, even if I'm off my phone, it kind of feels like a doom scroll of just like spiraling. So anyway, we're grateful for you spending some time with us today. Thank you so much for listening. Riley, I love you so much. I'm so glad you're going to get to have some fun with a few concerts this month. That's really special. And to all of you, happy almost fall. We're not quite there yet, but we hope you're enjoying your September so far, and we appreciate the love and support for our podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Love you. Goodbye.